Hello guys, Ashley here. Also, it's this man back there for the video. And today we will be discussing my problems with Ricky barely being involved in Amy's pregnancy and season 1 of Secret Life of the American Teenager. If someone had to ask me what is one storyline or one thing from the show that bothers me until the end of time, because there's so many things that bother me about the show. I'm not talking about the writing or anything like that, the acting. I'm not talking about that. I'm not going to bash that, because I can still enjoy the show even though it didn't even have the best writing or the best acting. I mean, like, storyline-wise. Like, character-wise, there's other things that bother me. Like, Adrian bothers me as a character. Ashley bothers me as a character. The way the parents are written bothers me. But if someone had to ask me what is the one thing that will always make my blood boil, no matter how many times I watch, even Ricky and Amy not being in-game bothers me, but nothing compares to this. Ricky barely being involved in Amy's pregnancy is something that makes my blood boil every time I watch season 1. Every fucking time. I can't even express how much this fucking annoys me. And it bothers me. It really does. The last video that I made, I really feel like I didn't go deep enough about talking about this. So I thought I would just come here and talk about it a little bit more. Even if the video isn't even as long. It needs to be longer than at least 15 minutes or 18 minutes. Because there's just so much wrong with this that it's annoying. So, you know, Amy finds out that she's pregnant by Ricky. So, and we all know that Amy got pregnant by Ricky. But if you had to ask me you have to tell me what is the real reason why Ricky is barely involved in this pregnancy, I have to put all the blame on Amy. No offense to her. But the reason why I have to put the blame all on Amy is because Amy excluded Ricky out of this pregnancy because she wanted Ben to be the father of her child. When Ben isn't the father of her child, she made Ben feel more included into the things that were important in this pregnancy. Doctor's appointments, videotaping, all types of stuff, being there for decision making, which Ben should have, in my opinion, Ben should have no say in any of this stuff that goes down. Not baby shower, not decision making, not adoption papers, not nothing. Ben should not have a say in any of it. Ricky finds out that Amy is pregnant, a rumor at school in episode 5, I believe. Episode 6, I believe. I don't know why I'm forgetting, but yes, it is episode 6. Episode 7 is when Ricky comes there and says that he wants to be involved, that he wants to make sure they can talk about this. Grace tells Ricky that he should have a say in if Amy's going to have an abortion, which I agree. Now, if you want to say at first we don't think Ricky cared, I don't think Ricky cared at first either. I don't think it was until a little bit more into Amy's pregnancy where he really just felt like her giving up the kid was really a bad idea. And, you know, it would have just been nice if he was involved a little bit more to have us, like, see if he cared about the pregnancy, because me personally, I do think he cared about his child, but to me, what just annoyed me was that he was really involved to seem like he can give a fuck. But episode 6 is when Grace tries to tell him that he should have a say. And then episode 7 is when Ricky tells Amy that he wants to be involved. And she said she don't feel like that he should have any say because she's going to be responsible for another kid. She's going to be responsible for another human being. And she tells him that she'll talk to him when she wants to talk to him. And he says, alright. So, the next episode, that was episode 7. Do y'all know the next episode, the next time her and Ricky talk? Episode 10. 7, 8, 9, 3 episodes went past without her and Ricky having a conversation. Ricky is not involved when Amy wanted to move away. He has no say in that. He's telling everybody that she's doing what's best for her. He's not going to stop her, which makes no sense. Literally in the episode before this one, he's telling Amy he wants to be involved. Now he's saying that it's okay for her to do what she wants to do. Makes no sense. My writing makes no sense. And then episode 9, instead of having Ricky and Amy talk about what they're gonna do, you have Ricky kissing up all over her best friend, a kiss that her friend is shitty for. They're both shitty for. Ricky is shitty for trying to get up on Amy's friend, and Lauren is nasty for even indulging in him. But she's nasty for indulging in his phone calls, for entertaining him. She knew Ricky wanted to, kiss and get booted up, and she encouraged that. Then they talked. Her and Ricky had another conversation in episode 11, saying that it was Madison and Lauren who started the rumor about her. She said it's not a rumor that Ricky got her pregnant. Like she said, I don't like how the way that you make that sound. I don't either. That I got you pregnant. First of all, it takes two to tango, honey. And he said that Madison wanted to keep a secret, but they can't. They could keep her secret. What did he say? I'm trying to remember what the fuck he said. Oh, let's pull it up because I'm trying to remember what he said. I got my phone right here. Season 1. Here it is. Oh my god, these ads are ridiculous now on YouTube.
It's all over school this morning, that the two of them disappeared.
Your friends are liars. You know they're the ones who started all the rumors.
Rude about you.
Rumors? This isn't a rumor that you got me pregnant.
You had a sound.
Like you believe in me or something. You have some
Responsibility in this.
You don't want to think something? Lauren?
Right?
Yeah. Oh, see, if Madison and Lauren can keep a secret from us, how'd you
So, everything that they just talked about is crazy to me. I don't like the way that Amy talks about the fact that you got to be pregnant. Like you said, you have some responsibility in this. You both were not protected that night. And like I said, I don't keep saying this. Ricky did not have sex by himself. So I don't like how they make that sound. And I don't like the fact that George came on to him and told him that you're going to be responsible for ruining a 15-year-old girl's life. Are you serious? Ricky is just looked at as like this horrible person. The next episode of her and Ricky talk is episode 14. They had a conversation in episode 11. So 12, 13, 2 episodes went past about her and Ricky talking. This is just the overall problem in this pregnancy, is that Ricky is really involved when these things matter. Like, why is Amy just now telling him that she's thinking about adoption? This is something that she's been thinking about since episode 13. No, since episode 12. The end of episode 12, when her and Ben got married. She was thinking about adoption. Why is she just not telling him in episode 14? Like, I honestly feel like Amy is responsible for keeping Ricky out of the pregnancy. Her and Ben and her family, for everyone to think that he should be, except for Anne. Anne is the only person who feel like Ricky should have some say in this. The only one. The fact that Ashley thinks that her and Ricky should not be able to talk about this stuff, it just makes like literally no sense to me. The fact that everyone is so mad and so rowdy up about Ricky and Amy having a conversation makes no sense to me. Ben, Adrian, like all of them. Like, are y'all serious? They're having a kid together. Why is it any of y'all business on why he's coming over here to talk about this shit anyway? I do feel like towards the second half of season 1, Ricky was more involved. But overall, I feel like he missed out on so many things because Amy wanted to replace Ricky with Ben. Like I said, Ben's going to doctor's appointments. Ben is being able to get included in decision making, which doesn't make any sense in my opinion. Makes no sense. Makes absolutely no sense. And Ricky has to find out in a random argument that he's having a boy, that they're having a boy. Amy is telling him that he needs to agree to the adoption because she wants to have a normal life, which I feel like just came off very selfish. I understand that nobody wants to have a kid at 15. I get it. Nobody wants to have a kid at 15. But for you to tell him that he needs to agree to it because you want to go to high school dances, you want to graduate on time, and you want to have a new relationship with him, it just seems very selfish and self-centered to say that. Then she gets mad at him for not agreeing to it and tells him that she feels he's only being involved in the pregnancy to impress Adrian or Grace, which also fucking got on my nerves. Why can't he just be involved because he wants to be involved? Why do you feel like him being involved is some alternative motive? Whether you want to face it or not, just because you wish Ben was the father, Ben isn't the father. Has she ever thought, or has anybody ever thought the reason why Ricky felt like he didn't have a say was because people made him feel like that? Adrian is telling him that he shouldn't be involved. He should just let Amy take care of things, let her just be with Ben, and basically encourage him to be a deadbeat. Like, I made a whole video about that. That Adrian basically encouraging Ricky to be a deadbeat, to basically have Ricky choose her over his son is wild and picks me worse. Like, that's hella crazy for Adrian to tell him that. Grace was the only one trying to tell Ricky that he should be involved and he should have a say, and that you need to fight for your child. If you don't fight for your child, Amy is going to find a way to make sure you're nowhere near in the decision making. Grace is the only one telling him straight the fuck up what he needs to fucking do. The fact that Ben is telling him in an episode where his dad offers him a job, saying that you're going to be in charge of a child for 18 years. Think about that for a minute. He said 18 years of having to take care of a baby. He said, do you really think that you're ready? And, basically just trying to tell Ricky that he could be a better father than him, that he could be able to take care of a kid for 18 years. And Ricky can't. It's just like, Ben, get the fuck out of my face. Get the fuck out of my face. When Ricky told him that he wins, that like he said, you jealous of me, Ben, you have everything that a guy can want. You have so much freedom right now. And yet, you're squashing your freedom to be aligned to the side of a girl who's having a baby at 15. It makes no sense. It's weird. Now, I don't mind Ben being there for Amy, but I feel like him and Amy should have not been a couple when he was being there for her. Him and Amy should have broken up, in my opinion. Because after Amy has the kid, Ben starts feeling some resentment on not being rewarded for being there for her. He thinks that he's owed something because he was there for her. Are you serious? Talk about entitlement. But, oh my god, it's just, this storyline with Ricky barely being involved in pregnancy, it's so much. Like, it makes you so stressed out. So stressed out. Like, so stressed out. It's bonkers. Like, the scene with her in the hallway when she's telling him that they're teenagers, they're in high school, how they're going to do this, that she just wants to have a life, and like he told her, that I understood it wasn't about you, he doesn't have a normal life, so it's like he said, do I think it's okay to keep a child who you can emotionally or financially support the kid? No. Because that's how a lot of traumatic childhood start. Because mothers who are single mothers have no help, end up doing things that puts the child in jeopardy of childhood trauma. It happens. But I do agree with Ricky. You guys both have supporting families. There should be no reason why we even consider adoption, in my opinion. If you have two families who's going to be willing to support you, and you just feel as an emotional shoulder, I honestly feel like Amy was only considering adoption because she didn't want to step up at first. Amy really didn't want to step up at first, in my opinion. Like, she was making no effort to find a job, to look for daycares. She just thought Ben was gonna. She didn't want to. She wanted to keep the baby at first because she wanted Ben to take care of her. I do think Amy was making decisions very selfishly in season 1, and I do think on some extent she was thinking about herself. But I don't think on some extent, like again I said, I still do feel like people were not being there for her emotionally. Because whenever she did express herself, or whenever she was having feelings of self-doubt, it almost caught her dramatic. Like the scene when when her and Ben broke up, and George told her, oh no, she said she would have been better off with Ricky, and instead of Ben. And he said, why? Because you and Ricky are having a kid. She said, yeah. And he said, no, don't think like that. He said, Ben is a good guy, and he said, Ricky isn't. It's like, wow, Ricky is just such a horrible person because what? He got little old Amy pregnant. Oh, because she's way too innocent for a guy like him. So it just seems like he took advantage of her because she's way too innocent. Like, are you serious? The way they talk about the night at band camp, like it was sexual assault, is crazy to me. I really hate how they talk about the night at band camp, like it was sexual assault. But like this, Ricky barely being involved, like he goes along with the adoption, only for Amy to get mad because Ricky was telling them that he came from an abusive childhood. She got mad at that, and Donovan and Leon didn't want the baby, and so her and Ricky was still struggling to find. They don't think it was right to take the baby, to have it, because they kind of felt like Amy really didn't want to give the child away. And I kind of felt that way too. I don't think Amy really wanted to give John away. In my opinion, I kind of feel she was kind of pressured into considering this because Anne was telling her to. And when her and Ricky had a conversation in the hallway about her and Ben breaking up, and when he says that he don't think they should consider adoption because he said he don't know how they're going to do it. Hold their son and then hand him off to someone else. Like, that's just so emotionally just detachment. The fact that you are agreeing to deliver your child, to hold your child for like a good minute, and then hand them off to another stranger. It's very sad and very depressing, and I definitely understood where he was coming from. For everybody to get so upset about Amy and Ricky having a conversation in the hallway, and Ricky giving her a hug because she started crying, it's just crazy to me. They act like it is against the law for Ricky and Amy to have a conversation, and yet they're having a child. I want to know where the fuck on God's earth is that weird. I want to know. Maybe if Amy would have not kept him isolated from the pregnancy for so long, Ricky could have had conversations like this a long time ago. They could have been had conversations about this a long time ago. If she didn't try to isolate him from the pregnancy, why wasn't Ricky there to talk about the baby shower? I don't understand why a lot of people feel like baby showers are just for women. No, baby showers should be, if we're going to make it just an all women thing, then the baby daddy should be there for me, period. I don't like the people talk about it should be for all women. No. A baby shower should be co-ed, in my opinion. There should be, the father should be there, and there should be everybody there. Friends and family should be there at the baby shower. It should not just be the women. That makes like no sense to me. I don't get that. Maybe certain baby showers are different for certain people, but to me, that sounds hella dumb. I honestly feel like a baby shower should include everyone, because it just makes it seem like she's a single mother when she isn't. The father is very much involved, but yet he's not here. I don't understand why Ricky was not. He should have been considered. I don't understand why he wasn't considered to be at the baby shower. It was dumb to me. So Amy, the water breaks, he goes into labor, and then Anne was the first person. Well, Anne was already there. I think Anne was already there. She had somebody go get her mom, and they went to the hospital. Ben was the second person that she called. We know who she called last? Ricky. Ricky was the last person that she called, letting him know that she was in labor. And the whole hospital scene, I really love to see the finale for season 1. The whole hospital scene, them talking about the night at band camp. Amy just, feeling like she screwed everything up by having sex with Ricky. The hospital episode was really good to me. Season 1, I thought it was really good. Ricky just being like really vulnerable with everybody, telling Ben that he'll be a way better father than he ever could. And I honestly, this is, like I said, I really do like Ben in season 1. He might have his annoying moments, but I honestly really did like Ben in season 1. He seemed very genuine in season 1. Like, when he told Ricky that when he would let him be the father, he isn't. And he gotta show everybody that they're wrong about him. Everybody thinks that he's a no good, bad boy from wrong side of the track, a womanizer, no good, he's dumb. Shut everybody up in this bitch. You be a great father. Show up and show motherfucker out. Show up and show out. Like I said, I made a video already about how everyone reacted to Ricky's childhood trauma was disgusting to me. I talked about that in things that annoy me about because I'm a teenager. I don't like how people reacted to Ricky's childhood trauma. It was like victim blaming, and I didn't fuck with it. I actually really did like the conversation between him and Ben. The conversation between him and Ashley, I did like too, but Ashley just came off like a total bitch. Well, maybe you should be worthy of being a friend. Maybe you'll have friends. It's like you said, it would just be nice if someone could be there for me while I'm going through this. And like, she's just a total bitch, so that's just that. So Amy has a baby, and Ricky couldn't hold John at first because I guess he kind of just felt emotionally, he just felt like how he's going to do this. But soon into the episode, he does warm up to John. He's holding him, and it's so cute. And that little shot with the shot with Amy, Ricky, and John in the hospital room, that to me was another Easter egg tease. Like, eventually we're going to get Ricky and Amy. So then, in the very last scene of the episode, Ricky picks John up while Amy is sleeping, and he tells him that he loves him. And that is how the pregnancy concluded in season 1. My overall opinion about Ricky barely being involved in this pregnancy is that I just think he should have more say. I just don't understand why Darren and Shailene really had any scenes in this season when it came to the pregnancy. One of the things that I did love about season 1 was that Ricky had other storylines outside of Amy, which I did enjoy, but because he had those other storylines, it kind of felt like they forgot that he was having a kid with Amy. Ricky should have been there more when it came to decision making, when it came to the adoption stuff, when it came to all of it, doctor's appointment, all of it. He should have been involved in everything, and he wasn't, and that really pissed me off. They try to replace Ricky with Ben. And then when Ricky was there and he was dabbling in decision making, everyone is looking at him like a fucking villain because now they think he's not being sincere about him being involved in pregnancy. It's just ridiculous to me. He gets a job and that's not good enough. He's involved, that's not good enough. It seems like it's not good enough for nobody, but Ricky is doing something in season 1. He was involved with Amy a little bit more, and everybody's pissy about it. George is pissy about it, saying that he should have no say in any of it, which is like, are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? This guy is the father at the end of the day, and was the only one who was able to digest that. Ashley is telling Amy that Ricky shouldn't be involved, and that if Ricky is involved, it's just them ending up repeating the same old pattern. Because she thinks she knows everything, right? Amy can't get pregnant on top of already being pregnant. So, hush. Like, just hush. Now, I do think Ashley saying that her being attracted to Ricky, I definitely think that's true. I've always felt like Amy was particularly attracted to Ricky. I've always felt that way. I always think Ricky was particularly attracted to her as well. But for Ashley to feel some type of way about Amy inviting him over here, it's just like, can you mind your own business for once? For once. I'm not about to go in there and watch her mom and tell her to let dad stay. If you're moving out, you're moving out. I don't give a fuck at this point. Like, if you wanna go with him, go, please. Oh, look, now, please, I want you to go. But it just pissed me off that everyone had a problem Ricky was trying to get involved. But then when he wasn't involved enough, they had a problem with it. Like in the very first half of the season, Ricky was really involved in the decision making and like the whole pregnancy, he was really involved. But I feel like towards the second half of season 1, he was way more involved. And to me, like he seemed way more involved in the pregnancy. He had a lot more to say. He had a lot more to do. But that first half, like episodes like 6 to 13, they kind of forgot a little bit that Ricky was the father. Like they just simply forgot it. Again, I don't know why Ricky was not there at the baby shower. Like, it's me. I feel like oh my gosh, that Ricky should at least be there. In my opinion, like he should at least be there. If you're gonna have a baby shower with just all women, that's like the father of the child should be there. It makes no sense that he is excluded from the baby shower because you want to have it be just an all women thing. It makes no sense. Ricky should be there. To me, this is just something that really pisses me off. I don't like it, and I really wish that if I wrote season 1, I would have made Ricky way more involved. Like, it's ridiculous to me that Ricky didn't have a say on Amy trying to move away with their child. Like, it didn't make any sense to me. The episode 7, he just told Amy that he wants to be involved more and he wants to have her number whenever she wants to talk about the child, the kid. She's telling her she'll see him when she see him, and that if she wants his number, she'll get it from somebody. But then the next episode, Ricky's telling Grace and all of them that if Amy thinks the best for her is to move away and go to a different school, he can't stop her from doing that. Makes no sense. This guy was just telling her that he wants to be involved, and now he don't give a crap. Like, it's just ridiculous to me. And then they try to make him think he was a bad guy because he's having sex with Adrian and he's dating Grace and he's about to have a child. No, he's not a bad guy for doing. He's not a bad guy for having a girlfriend and having sex with Adrian, in my opinion. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's got like shit on his plate. I think he needs to get it together. And me personally, I feel like he cut ties with Adrian not soon after that, and then him and Grace broke up once his father came back to town. So I feel like once you do all those things, there should be no reason why Ricky wasn't more involved. And I feel like that's kind of what they did for the second half. That once him and Adrian stopped having sex and once him and Grace broke up, they had more room for him and Amy to have more scenes together, which I did like. But it's like after he should have been there from the beginning. There should have been no excuse why Ricky wasn't involved from the beginning. The fact that Ricky had no objection on seeing Ben and Amy get married. It's something that bothers me as well. Like, I understand that him and Amy aren't like they're fighting their attraction. They don't want to be attracted to each other because Amy doesn't like the idea that she had a one night stand with a guy that she's not together with. And for Ricky, it was just a hit and quit. He never had any intention of taking it anywhere past band camp. But to me, I feel like if I was a father and I saw my baby mama pretty much trying to play house with another guy and get married to this guy, I would feel the type of way. Like, not saying that I need to get down and marry her, but I will feel the type of way about kind of being like replaced and excluded. And that's something that just bothers me. Like, the fact that Ricky never checked Amy or never checked Ben for Amy and Ben for trying to play house and trying to exclude him from the pregnancy. It was just something that needed to be talked about. They never once sat down and was just how to talk about Amy basically trying to play house with Ben. Except he never got real with Amy like that. But it was time for him to tell Ben that you should get out. You should run. And this is your first girlfriend, and yet your first girlfriend is pregnant, and yet you're sticking around. Like, there were times when Ricky was giving Ben real actual advice, or like a hidden reality advice, and yet Ben just wasn't taking it. But I really would have liked if Ricky would have told Amy that, do you think it's cute to play house with a guy when you're having my baby? And he did tell her that in the one episode when he said that Ben is a Woods and he was never your type, and at the end of the day you are having my baby. Whether he doesn't want to believe that, you are having my baby. Y'all, this storyline with Ricky not being involved in pregnancy is something that just pisses me off. There were so many things they could have done differently to make him more involved, and yet they chose not to do it. So I would say my final thoughts with this is that Ricky should have been more involved. Amy should have told Ben to back off and to not have any say or any opinion about decision making. And she should have not been playing house with Ben. And I expected at least somebody, George, Ashley, and someone to say something about Amy playing house with Ben. But no one has no objection because Ben is just such a great guy, right? Ricky is so horrible and Ben is so great that they don't even care if Ben is law in decision making. The fact that Ben was sitting there on that couch and telling them what are y'all gonna do is astonishing to me. Never have I ever in my life seen the mother, the baby father, and the baby mama sitting down with having a conversation about their child, what they're gonna do with their child, with her boyfriend sitting there. Never have I ever saw anything like that. That is crazy. Crazy. This storyline was crazy, and I want to know if anyone else did anybody else get pissed off by this, by Ricky barely being involved in pregnancy? Let me know. I did dive into this when I talked about this on my season 1 review, but I promised that I would make a video about this, just stating my grievances, and I did. And this is way better than the first video I made because the first video was way too short, and I feel like I didn't say enough. But here, I'm saying a lot more. Ricky should have been involved a lot more in pregnancy, and it pisses me off that Amy and her family and her friends thought that keeping Ricky out of the decision making was better for her when honestly it was stupid. So that's all I have to say. See y'all next time. Have a good one.